everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So first off, I want to give you guys a huge thanks because we've hit 4,000 subscribers. I feel like it's been a long time going. I feel like I've been hovering around 4,000 for a while, but I'm so glad to say we finally hit it. So thank you to all of you who are new subscribers to my channel, and thank you to all of you who've been supporting me for years. So with that being said, if you are new here, be sure to click that subscribe button. It really does help me out. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. It helps me with brands. It's just, there's a lot of levels how it's helpful to me. So if you are a regular viewer of my channel and haven't subscribed, or if you're finding this video for the first time, be sure to click that subscribe button. I talk about conscious beauty here on my channel. Also, come follow me on Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirlkat there as well. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about the relaunch of Cloven Hallow. So Cloven Hallow, I feel like it's, in some ways, I feel like it's always been here in the clean beauty space, but I also very distinctly remember when they launched and their brand coming out. Its brand has been around for a few years now. And they really have expanded their line. They've come out with a lot of different products. I've tried so many of them here on my channel and really have enjoyed most of them. Recently, Cloven Hallow kind of launched their sister brand, Clover. I did a video where I reviewed and talked about the products. I will link that up above in case you're curious about Clover. And that brand, I would say, is geared more towards a little bit of a younger demographic. I am a millennial, but I'd say it's more of kind of a Gen Z-ish brand, but there are some products in the brand that I really enjoy and that I think are great. However, when that brand launched, Cloven Hallow said they're going to be kind of updating Cloven Hallow itself. So that's happened now. And they've been releasing new products. It looks like they're phasing out some of their older products. Also, I've been following on Instagram, and it seems like this is kind of like phase one of the rebrand. There's going to be additional products coming soon, so that there will be like a full face of makeup. Because right now we don't have quite a full face of makeup from the relaunch, rebranded Cloven Hallow. So, but that being said, I picked up quite a few of the new updated products. Some of them are the old products kind of just like updated slightly, and some of them are completely new from what they had before. I've been trying these out and testing these out, so I'm gonna be sitting here and showing you demos of me applying them and sharing my thoughts. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so I do have on some foundation. I put on the Kjaer Weis, what is this called? This is the Liquid Touch Foundation. I'd kind of been using other foundations and hadn't reached this in a while, and I've started using it again and remember how much I love it. The first product I'm going to be talking about is the Cloven Hallow Concealer. And the concealer is the same concealer they've had for a number of years now. However, they did update their shade range and come out with some new shades. There are now 18 shades of the concealer. I'll pop a picture of the shades up here so you guys can see, and it's better. I had kind of a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with the concealer previously. And one of the big reasons for that was that the lightest shade was just not a good shade match for me. It was like very pink. I was very baffled by that shade. I was like, whose skin tone is that pink? However, they have come out with a new number one shade, and I am happy to report, as you can see here, that it is a much more neutral and undertoned shade. So we will be using this today, but I can just tell you straight off, it is like much better shade than the previous lightest shade of the concealer. So if you were like me and try that shade and were like, that's just not a good shade, this one I think will be a lot better. So this concealer is interesting in that it's definitely more of a thin concealer, and it definitely dries down. It's interesting because I used to like concealers like this a lot. As I've gotten older, I actually prefer concealers that are just a little bit more hydrating. I feel like it's just more forgiving, especially once you start getting any sort of like wrinkling going on under your eyes. I mean, it's very minor, but I've noticed a difference in the past couple of years in my concealer preferences. But I do really like this, and I do like that it kind of holds in place really well. I do have oily, acne-prone skin, and even though I often like a little bit more of a creamy concealer under my eyes, a concealer like this definitely sets and kind of holds in place well. So I do like that about it. It also, like I said, it's just super lightweight. Like it really doesn't feel like you have anything on under there. So if you do not like the feeling of a more kind of heavy concealer, I would recommend this if you like things that are kind of a little bit more self-setting and just feel really light and nice. That's kind of what you've got going on with this concealer. Okay, let me zoom you in a little bit. That's better. You can see that it brightened under my eyes quite a bit. It obviously didn't conceal everything. There is still a little bit of darkness, but I am happy with this level of coverage. I feel like it kind of matches with my makeup style, which has not been very full coverage. Thanks to all you guys that compliment my skin in the last video. You guys made me feel so happy because I was seeing this result in my skin and seeing that I really liked how my skincare routine was working, and I felt like my skin is just in a really good place. So I've been tending towards these like more lighter coverage looks, and this, when you have a little bit of a lighter coverage concealer, it kind of helps to not look like you've over concealed under your eyes. But I feel like this concealer still does give that brightening and coverage that I'm looking for. So I have to say I am happy with this concealer. I'm much happier with the shade of it. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite concealer. I really have been loving the Kosas Revealer Concealer. Also, I've been having a really fun time playing around with the Rose Ink Concealer. I will link my video where I review that brand up above. But yeah, I do like it. And if you like the concealer but had a hard time finding your shade previously, yeah, the shade range is expanded, especially on the lighter end of the shade range. I feel like the lightest shade is just a much better shade. Okay, so previously Cloven Hallow had liquid blushes, and I had a mixed feelings on those. The liquid blushes for me would kind of oxidize a bit, like they would turn much more warm than what they were when I would swatch them. So I didn't love that, but I did like the formula otherwise, and I felt like they dried down well, they stayed in place. They were a nice blush. However, instead of having liquid blushes, Cloven Hallow has now released cream blushes. So I picked this one up. Unfortunately, I don't remember what the shade of it is. This is gonna be my slight gripe with Cloven Hallow and like coming out with all these like cream products in refillable packaging. So I love the refillable packaging. You can buy the pans individually, and then you can purchase the compact here, which has a really bright mirror. That's why I'm covering this up. This is what the compact looks like. It's the exact same compact they had previously for their powdered bronzer and their powder foundation. But the thing is once you get a couple of these, so I picked up the new cream bronzer and highlighter and blush, I can't tell what's what because these external packagings are identical. I would really like it if they'd come out with like different colors, or like had something that said like bronzer, blush, something on here, because the problem is when I'm digging through my drawer trying to find something, I have to pull them all out and open them all up because I have no idea which one is which. And also this compact is just bulky. I would have liked to see a little bit of a thinner, smaller packaging in general. This is, like I said, the previous packaging they had. Maybe at some point they're going to be updating this packaging too, but right now that's kind of my thoughts on it. Is I don't love the packaging situation, but I am happy that they released a cream blush over like a powder blush. You guys know I'm all about the cream products. So let me go ahead and apply this. And I do like this, this cream blush. It's a little bit, I would have liked a little bit more of a cream to matte situation. I really like blushes, cream blushes that dry down a little bit, that just, I find them to be a lot more comfortable on my oily skin. My hair is not getting a stick to them. You know, that's just kind of what I've been gravitating towards. But I do really like this. It's got a good level of pigmentation. It's blending out easily. The staying power is pretty good. The one thing I've noticed is if I go ahead and powder and set my face, I often need to apply a little bit of extra blush on top of the setting powder to kind of amp up the color a little bit and help it stay. So I probably will do that today. And this looks like a lot of blush, I know, but once we get the powder on, it's going to kind of dull this down a bit. So I'm going in heavy-handed now, and then it'll kind of lighten up once we put the powder on. But yeah, I have to say I'm happy with it. I wouldn't say it's like my all-time favorite cream blush, but it's a good, solid cream blush. I think I have the shade Dahlia. And there are 5 shades. The cream blush is $25, and then you have to purchase the compact on top of that. So it's actually kind of expensive. Okay, so next up we have the bronzer. There are 3 shades of the bronzer. I got the lightest shade because here I am with my fair skin. This is the shade Toasted, and this is a cream bronzer. It has absolutely no shimmer to it. So that's kind of what's going on there. And I'm trying to find a brush to apply this with. Oh, there it is. So I do like to apply this with a stippling brush. I like this shade. I'm very picky with bronzer shades. I do like the shade. It is a matte bronzer. It doesn't have any shimmer to it. But I found that it just kind of gives me a nice bit of color on my face. I find it to be less pigmented than the Stay bronzer. I'm going to swatch them side by side because that's kind of the most similar cream bronzer to this one. Because the Tower 28 is a shimmery bronzer, so that's just kind of in a league of its own. But I would say this one, the bronzer that comes to mind that's most similar to this one is the not Tower 28, is the Stay bronzer. But I find this one is easier to work with in that it is not quite as pigmented. So especially on my fair skin, I feel like it's easier to not get too carried away with the bronzer, which I appreciate. Although I feel kind of funny putting on bronzer. It's, September, and I feel like I'm like past Labor Day. I'm like, okay, I'm done with bronzer. But, for the sake of this video, we will bronze it up a little bit. Okay, so if you look up here is the Stay Beauty bronzer in light bronze, and down here is the Cloven Hallow bronzer in the shade Toasted. You can see the undertone difference in these 2 bronzers. So I would say between the 2, just pick whichever kind of undertone bronzy look that you like better. I normally don't find myself reaching for that kind of reddish bronzer, but for some reason I feel like this shade is working well on me. Though I would really like some brand. Well, I like the new Tower 28 bronzer, the lightest shade of that one. I feel like that is the ideal shade, but I would like to also see like a non-shimmer version of that one, but I haven't been able to find that. So in terms of the bronzer, it's pretty much the exact same formula as the cream blush in terms of being creamy. It doesn't dry down that much. You can see I'm like starting to get real glowy here from the blush and the bronzer. So once we set this, things will start kind of looking a little bit more under control, but that is something to keep in mind. I like to say the Tower 20 and the Cloven Hallow. I think it just kind of depends on what kind of look I'm going for, what kind of undertones I want, kind of what the general vibe is. So I think they're all good. It just kind of depends on, your personal preference. I just had this thought. So up here is the Cloven Hallow powdered bronzer. This is their old bronzer. This is the lightest shade of it. And then here's their new cream bronzer in Toasted. You can see the difference. This new one is much redder. I much preferred their powder bronzer in terms of shade. I would have loved to have seen that shade in a cream bronzer. I went ahead and filled in my brows and also put on some eye makeup because there weren't new products from the line in those categories. Now let's move on to highlighters. So I picked up their cream highlighter. They have 2 shades of the cream highlighter. There's this more champagne shade, which is the one I picked up. And then there's also a more kind of goldy shade. With my fair skin, there was no way that one was gonna work. So I picked up this one, and I am happy to say that this is actually light enough for my fair skin. But first, I actually want to mention, you can see after I powdered my face that the blush definitely like dulled a little bit. I'm going to grab just a smidge more on my brush and just kind of deepen this up a little bit, just to give a little bit more color. And once I do this, this is going to stay on, pretty much all day. But I find that, I just need to do a little bit more blushing after powdering. I know that's not how you normally do things, but someone recommended doing this. I can't even remember who. Someone on one of my videos recommended doing this, and honestly, I really have found this to be helpful to powder, to put a little bit more cream blush on top of powder, especially if you have oily skin and your skin tends to eat cream blushes. Like this helps a lot. Okay, so now we've got that done. Let's go in with the concealer, with the highlighter. And I do like this shade a lot. This is the more champagne shade. Once again, I can't remember what the name of it is because I can't see it. It's on the bottom of this pan. I do like this. It sits right at the cusp of what shade would work for me in my fair skin. But because it sits right on that cusp, it gives a very, very natural glow. And they used to have a liquid highlighter in the formula. This is just so much better. I did not like the liquid highlighter. I felt like it always picked up my product underneath it, but I really like this. And you can see that's just a beautiful, beautiful glow. I haven't been wearing highlighters in general that much, but this one I do like, and I have been reaching for. I've got it swatch right here. Yeah, you can see it shimmering, but you don't see it like looking deep on my skin tone, nor do you see it really popping out. So I think if you have a skin tone close to mine, it's like a very kind of natural glow from within highlight shade. Yeah, if it had been like any deeper, we would have been seeing shadowing when I look straight on. So the final product that's not exact, it's not really new, but they did update the packaging, is their lipstick. If you saw my lipstick declutter, I'll link that video up above. I had to declutter a bunch of Cloven Hallow lipsticks because they were just old and expired. So I went ahead and picked up a new one of their lip cream in the shade Sugared Plum. They also updated their packaging and I think the formula slightly of their lip gloss as well. I just didn't really want to pick up another lip gloss. I don't know. I'm happy with the lip glosses I have and just didn't really feel like I needed another one, and so I didn't pick it up. Also, their lip velvets, they still have those. I thought about picking up some new lip velvets because I also had to declutter a number of mine. I may at some point, but I just didn't with this order. So we just got the lipstick. This is the shade Sugared Plum, which is this nice kind of, it's a little bit more of a berry shade, but it's not like a deep berry. It's like a very light berry shade. I thought it'd be nice for kind of fall and winter. I feel like I have a lot of more warmer toned lipsticks and I wanted to have a cooler one in my collection, so I went ahead and picked this up. So let me apply this. I can't talk and apply it. It's a little cool tone for my shirt, but yeah, well, we're doing it for demo purposes here. So I really like the lip cream formula. I've liked it for a long time. It's definitely a creamy lipstick. The name's lip cream. It's not an overly long wearing lipstick. I find that it doesn't just like slide off, but I wouldn't put it in like the long wearing category. I find that it looks nice on my lips. I don't know. I've gotten kind of, maybe as I've gotten older, gotten some lines on my lips. I'm a little bit judgier of like how lipsticks actually look on my lips. This one, it just looks really smooth. It doesn't settle into any fine lines on my lips, and it just looks nice. The scent of it, I would say, is citrus, kind of like an orange scented lipstick, which I like. And I think the packaging is a nice update compared to the white bullets that they used to have. It just, yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Kosas lipsticks. So overall, what are my thoughts? I think the products that they've launched and kind of revamped a bit are solid. I wouldn't say they're like mind-blowing, innovative, game-changing products in the clean beauty space, but they're really nice, good options. I feel like it's very logical, the products that were launched compared to like where the brand was and kind of going forward, a little bit more cream product, kind of leaning in that direction. So it makes sense. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you guys curious about the new Cloven Hallow products? What do you think the rebrand? Very curious to hear your thoughts. So let us know in the comment section down below. And I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and of course subscribe. Come follow me on Instagram and I will see you next time. Bye.